uh, Colorado football, and a few other things right there. As we talking to Uncle Neely's, as my kids would say, big back, big back. My kids gonna call me a big back. I almost smashed one of they, but they face. What's up, Coach Pollock?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Man, we
I,
doing great,
I
Coach.
come back
Doing
now that
great.
Coach Pollock gone.
Got some sense on the screen.
Coach Pollock, I made one mistake.
Oh Lord.
Hey, what's that?
I bet
I
got something to do
was with you this morning. We had a great meeting talking in your office there, and I said, "Yeah, Coach, why don't you bring you on? About 30 minutes into the show, 11:25 or so." I should have said 2 minutes. I should have said 2 minutes into the show.
Hey, I'd have come save today, man.
Because look, we need a hero. Because if I tell you, Chico been on here combing his damn afro, he ain't looking at the notes I sent him. Like,
he ain't got his glasses on today. What's up with that?
That's
what are we doing, man? What are we doing? I almost wore mine today. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to get my hair as nice as yours, so I was picking my hair and Unc got jealous.
Hey, listen, often imitated, never duplicated.
Baby. Yes, indeed.
So, Coach P, he put that pick in. You ain't seeing it come out the top of nowhere. It's just going in and coming out. Coach Michael Pollock, special teams coordinator, Colorado Buffaloes football. And today, what we want to talk about, next week, we got the women's camp, and Coach Pollock is the coordinator of that camp, putting it all together. Coach, how have you been since your last visit on here? And talk to us about organizing that camp that's going to take place next week.
Well, man, I tell you what, I've been really good, although I am several $1,000s lighter in the pocket because I just got finished paying for my oldest daughter's wedding. So
understand that. Congratulations.
Good thing the stock market is rising a little bit today. I'm trying to recoup some money.
Man, saw the pictures on your Instagram. Y'all make sure you follow Coach Michael Pollock on the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and of course his YouTube channel. Saw the pictures on the man. Looked like a beautiful ceremony, and I think I seen a tear come out your eye there.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was very happy, and we had a great time. It was worth every penny of it. She was happy, and it was she deserves it. She's been a great kid, and she's grown up to be a great young lady, and I love the man that she's married, and I'm just excited for them and their journey that they're taking together.
Absolutely. And speaking of that journey, man, we're back in Colorado, back in Buff Nation, phase 1, summer 1, strength and conditioning with Coach Swayze, and also it's camp season. Yesterday you had your walk-on camp. Tomorrow we got your elite camp. Next week, back-to-back youth, and then the women's camp that you're heading up.
That's right. We had a great camp yesterday. We feel great about the camp tomorrow. And then next week, man, that's the big week. We got 3 big days, and it ends with our women's clinic next Thursday, June 12th. And we're excited about that. That was a hit last year. And I think that, our DFO, Reggie Calhoun, our assistant DFO, Tyler Johnson, and of course, Tasha Stewart, have done a great job of organizing a lot of the work that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know about. Those 3 people, along with some other people I'm sure I'm leaving out, do a great job of getting these things organized, getting volunteers to help us to make this thing go smooth. And we're very excited about next week wrapping it up with the women's clinic on June 12th.
Yeah, y'all can see us on the screen now. Not too late to register for it. You guys time to travel in for it. If you're here in the 303, you certainly got time to make it. It is a more of an evening camp than these other ones that have been during the day and in the mornings. I would, covered last year's extensively. That's still up on the Pregame network, and we doing the same. So everyone who participated last year, had a phenomenal time. Looking at the pre-registration numbers, it looks like it has grown, exponentially since last year. So going to be a good time, Coach.
Absolutely. We're excited about the numbers we got so far, and we're looking forward to those numbers continuing to increase throughout this week until the registration deadline. And like I say, I think, every time you do something year after year, you get better at it. So we're definitely looking to improve things from last year. We thought last year was great, but hey, we're looking to make this even better, and just expose more of the ladies to the game of football and just give them an opportunity to spend some time with our staff and our facility to get some behind the scenes view of what goes on in Buff Nation and just to be able to watch the games and just have if they've got questions or things they need to answer that will help them as they're watching they can impress their significant other with their football knowledge.
Yeah, that's one of the things I loved about last year, Coach. You go into these things and you really don't know what's going to happen. You think you're just going to go out there on the field and run around, everybody laugh and have a little play day or something. But the women who participated last year, just like this year, you meet in the team meeting room, just like the players
Right.
do. Sit there where the players play. The coordinator speaks, the head coach speaks, the position coaches speak and tell you about what their roles are, what they do. You get to tour the building, go by
Yes.
strength and conditioning, and then you go outside and you do the work that each position does, and you move to each group. You really couldn't ask for a better blueprint, particularly for a lady who may not be too familiar with how football works from an operation standpoint. Get
Correct.
experience all that on the evening in Boulder, Colorado, with the flat irons behind you.
That's right. And that I tell you what, they I know last year they got very competitive and they were really trying to take it in and do exactly what we want them to do and we're taking their drill work serious. And hey, you left out an important part that we've added this year. We got a little social hour this year too. So it's going to be a little meet and greet time. Give them an opportunity to meet the coaches, talk to the coaches, talk to everybody that's involved with our program, and just get to know us a little bit better as we get to know them. And we just hope that's an added little addition that they'll appreciate and enjoy. And we just are looking forward to that night because that's a really good opportunity for us to reach a part of our community that a lot of times we don't get to reach out to and visit with throughout the football season.
And I think that, Coach, you correct me if I'm wrong. One other thing that we're both leaving out, I think it also ends with a little flag football competition.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think you're
yeah.
right.
I thought I saw that on the list this year. That they're gonna put the flags on and learn and apply what they learned that day.
Yeah, that's right. And that'll be a good deal for them.
Yeah, I got one question out there. We had a question earlier for you, Chico. I mean, from the chat, Chico, to Coach Pollock. Someone just asked about Folsom Field, and we'll be using another field because they're right now outside this window prepping that for the turf to go down. So that won't be ready by next week, I would imagine. So that
No.
upgrade, the Bach 1404 asked about that. So that upgrade is underway right now, and I had a little weather delay yesterday, but the equipment and dirt is moving around out there now.
Well, I'll tell you what, even yesterday they did as much work as they could considering the rain. So they're hard at it. They got them. I think they're doing a great job out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product.
Yes,
So
sir.
for everybody don't know, they're replacing the grass with artificial turf going around, right?
Yes,
That's correct.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
correct. And it's
And
multifaceted, man. Of course, it's gonna speed play up for the players, but it also puts, everybody, looks at the revenue side of things, Coach, in this day in this environment. And one of the things that when you have a nice stadium like this facility with the flat irons back there, and you got grass down, you're limited on what kind of events you can do outside of football,
Right.
because you got to keep the field ready for football. So you're going to see more concerts and that kind of thing take place in this facility.
Correct.
Way
And
more
then another
durable.
thing too is we're with the college football playoff first round being a home game for some teams that are getting those seedings that earn a home game. We're hoping to be one of those teams.
Absolutely.
If we don't get we'd rather get the first round bye, but but we want to prepare ourselves so that our field is in great shape late in the year when we possibly have to host a home playoff game. And it's very hard to do that when you've got a grass field.
Absolutely, man. Investing in success, because you got to believe the success is going to come because you're working for it.
Right.
Yeah. And you won't have a situation like last year, was it, where somebody ran or drove onto the field and messed it all up to where the field crew had to do a lot of work right before that? You won't have that problem with the turf. I
Hope not. I hope we got that gate over there where they drove
right,
through
right.
a little bit sturdier. Hey, it's kind of like the man that has his mailbox hit with the baseball bat by some kids at night on Friday night. And then
Mhm.
eventually he's like, you know what, I'm gonna fix this and I'm gonna build brick around it, you know.
Yeah.
Then
Exactly.
they hit
Yeah.
that bat, they kind of get the bat popped back on them. So yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Hey, Coach,
Good thing.
we know that this time of year, Coach Swayze has the keys to the team, and the football guys are not involved in that. But still from a special teams or schematic standpoint, talk about some of the things that you and Coach Zim are working on, in June when you're not with the players.
Well, I tell you right now, we're working on finalizing our PLP time with the players. We have 5 or 6 dates this summer that we're going to have PLPs, and we want to make sure that special teams is not left out of that time. So many times you get caught up in doing 7-on-7s and 1-on-1s with O-line, D-line, and stuff like that, and you kind of forget about special teams for a while. And we're trying to keep special teams on our team's mind. We really feel like we've got a talented group of kickers and punters and snappers and everything. And we just feel like that we want to get the whole team involved for a little period during that PLP time throughout June and July, in which we can institute some of our schemes and drill work that we're going to be doing in August as we go through fall camp.
And for those who may not be in the know, PLP stands for player-led practice, and you get a couple of those where the players can go out there and practice, by themselves without the coaches standing over them
Right.
and that kind of thing. So that's just a part of that summer mechanics, as the
Right.
summer goes on.
And of course we're working on our first 3 opponents.
Yeah.
We're working on Georgia Tech, we're working on Delaware, and working on Houston, so we can get a head start on those guys. And because a lot of the preparation for those 3 teams is going to be based off what they did last year. That's the only film we have right now, and that's what we're having to go by. And of course, as we play more games, we'll get into evaluating more of what a team does next year as they get ready for us. But right now, we're kind of in the mindset of just putting in, preliminary game plans for those 3 opponents as we get through June and July, while we have time to focus on that and don't have a lot of other things going on the field with the players besides the workouts with them, with Coach Swayze and the guys. And that's going to give us a jump start into August and help us throughout fall camp as we get ready for the season.
I found that question for you, Coach. Chico had asked the chat to drop some questions for you. It was from Statesman 15. Question for Coach Pollock: how are the new kick and punt returners looking? Do we have a consistent mid-range kicking game? 45 yards or so. So just talk about what you saw from the spring from an evaluation standpoint.
Well, 45 yards in, it's Mata time. So we feel like we're good there. And then of course 45 out, we've got the cannon Buck Buchanan coming in, and he handles those longer range field goals. Feel good about those 2 guys. Complete confidence in their ability to execute. And then we've got some guys behind them that have really worked hard to come in and earn their spot in the depth chart. And as far as returners go, we feel like that we've added some pieces in the portal that we're going to look at for the return position. I mean, we've got some guys that did it in the spring that we feel good about, but we've added a couple of guys in the portal, the post spring portal, to also give us some other depth at those positions. And we'll just have to see how fall camp goes and see who comes out on top of that battle.
If there was a way you would say that you're going to put your stamp on the special teams, what is that way? What is something that we'll be seeing as far as viewership from the outside in, that we'll say, oh, that's Coach Pollock's stamp on the special teams?
Well, I really tell you this. I really want to improve our return game. I've punt return and kickoff return. We returned 1 kick last year, 1 punt for a touchdown, and I felt like that we probably, Coach Prime has voiced his concern from last year that we were not as explosive as he would like to have us to been in the return game, which,
Mhm.
I mean, you're talking to a guy that's top 2 punt returner, kickoff returner of all time in NFL. So of course he wants that part of the game to shine. And when you have some explosive guys back there like we had, we need to do better. So I'm hoping to put my stamp on the return game and show some improvement there. And I think we can, and we're going to definitely put a lot of work into that so that we really make that something that people have to worry about with us, and they have to really game plan us and understand that that's a play that they're going to have to defend.
Yeah, I like that, coach. That looking in the mirror and just that honest reflection on what we got to improve on. Because I'm with you. When you look at the speed that we had last year, whether it was a Jimmy Horn Jr. or a Wester, and I know that there are a lot of things that go into a play working.
Right.
There are 10 other people out there that got to do their jobs, and the ball got to be kicked just right and all that. I get all that. But if there was any place I thought statistically we underachieved, it would have been in that return game and flipping some of that field position for the offense.
Right. Well, like I say, Coach Prime made a point of that coming back in January, that he wanted that to improve. So that's been something that we spent a lot of time focusing on, and we'll continue to do so. And you're right. It's going to be 11 guys working together to do something like that. I know when Coach was with Dallas, I think that he told his guys if he returned four punts, 4 kicks in a year for a touchdown, they got a Rolex. So I don't know if NIL lets us do that or whatever, but I mean, whatever we got to do, man, within the confines of the rules, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. It's one of those things, man, that there's some crazy stat out there, coach. I don't want to misquote it, but a team that scores, a punt return or a kickoff return go on to win the game like 90% of the time or something.
No doubt.
It's one of those
100%.
scores that's not factored in. So
Right.
You could really change the outcome of a game with that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Third phase of the game.
No doubt.
Coach, let me ask you this question as a special team coordinator. On punts, right? What position do you look for to cover your punts the most? Is there a specific position or just like a skill set you look for to add on your punt coverage team?
Well, I tell you what, with our punt, we use a pro style punt. So we've got 2 gunners in a slot. So we depend on them a lot to get down there and make plays. And of course it all starts with the punter and ball placement. We don't want to kick the ball down the middle of the field, because that's just a recipe for disaster. We want to play directional kick and try to give ourselves an opportunity to shut off half of the field and only have to cover half the field. But like I say, our gunners and slots have got to get down there. They've got to break down. They got to be ready to make plays. And because the rest of our guys are tied up in protection, and then of course they're covering after that. But yeah, those 3 guys are very important, and we're looking for 3 guys that can get down the field, get off press coverage, and make a play in the open field, and prevent an explosive play from even getting started.
Yeah,
coach, I got to tell you the punchline. What Chico was hoping there, he was hoping, because he played tight end, that you were going to say how much you really rely on tight ends. Like that's what had him on the edge of his seat.
Hey, they play guard for us on punt. Their job is to block.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what makes them one of the most athletic positions on the field. They can run,
let me tell you
catch,
something.
block.
We've got some guys that have done a great job at that position too. I mean, we really, I'm gonna tell you something, just so everybody knows out there, special teams wise, because I know there's a lot of people out there that worry about recruiting and going to NFL. If you play tight end or running back, you better be valuable on special teams, because you will not, unless you are the guy, unless you're Travis Kelce or you're Derrick Henry or somebody like that at those positions, you are going to have to make a roster on special teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, right here in Denver, Terrell Davis was about to get cut by the Broncos and goes down there and makes a play on kickoff and gets everybody's attention. And that's what got him a roster spot. And of course, he didn't have a Hall of Fame career, And so if you're a tight end or a running back, I mean, I'm just speaking from an offensive standpoint right now, you've got to be valuable on special teams. I mean, you just cannot sit there and not help on your special teams. And in college, if you look at some of the elite programs, I mean, I'm gonna go back to Georgia. And I mean, I can remember when, Sony Michel played for the Dogs, and he covered kickoffs,
Yeah.
and Todd Gurley was a kick returner,
Yeah.
and so you've got to be at those two positions. You're looking for, that to increase your value. Be a special teams player. Be a guy that can play on at least four special teams, and you'll make yourself valuable. And I'm gonna tell you, that's going to increase your odds of going to the NFL.
Yep.
Because, like I say, if you're in the NFL and you're not the starting tight end or you're not the number one running back, chances are the only way you're going to get a roster spot is if you're a valuable special teams player. So yeah, we value our tight ends. We've done a great job of upgrading that room with Coach Brett Bartolone, and then of course Coach Falk has upgraded our running back room as well. And we're looking for some production special teams wise out of those two rooms.
Yeah, a couple quick points. And I know we got Deuce and Scoop is joining us, so we can bring him onto the panel as well, Chico. But when you look at, I know you spoke on it from the offensive side of the ball, Coach, but when you look at, I would say probably third round on back, and you're not a quarterback, you better be able to make some noise on special teams if you want to.
Yes.
If you want
Well,
to make that
like
53-man
I say,
roster.
defensively, we look at our linebacker room and our safeties room. Our corners. Those guys have to be, 3 and 4 core special teams players for us. And that it's just if you got to make yourself more valuable, and to do that, you got to show that you can help the football team at different places. And in the NFL with the roster limits and everything, they're looking for guys that in those third round to seventh round picks, free agent picks. Okay, what kind of value does this guy give us as a special teams player?
Yep.
And so yeah, that's where you can be. It could be you compared to another kid. And if you're a guy that, say, you're a safety, and then but you've also played on 4 different special teams in college. I mean, listen, let's just face it. They're looking at a guy that's already done it versus a guy that's just been a safety and nothing else.
Yep.
It's going to make a difference in their decision.
Now, Coach, being where you from and I'm from, we ain't like Chico. We cut our own grass. But for those who out there who hire people to do it, you're gonna cut a guy. You're gonna pay a guy to just do the yard, or you're gonna pay a guy to do the hedges too, and trim everything and line it up. You got to bring more than one thing to the table if you want to stick somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It's in everything you do. The more value you bring to yourself, the more chance you have to move up the ladder of success. And it's no different with football.
Yep. You got to be able to do multiple things out there, dog.
I mean, it's no different with coaches. Like if you got a coach that, say, he coaches his position, but he doesn't coach any special teams. I mean, and then or he's not doesn't recruit as well. I mean, the guy that coaches his position can recruit and coach special teams. I mean, he's going to get an opportunity to move on up the ladder one day when another guy's not. So like I say, it works on our end too.
Look at yourself, Coach. Look at
you sit
yourself.
here, Coach. I don't say this because you're sitting here. I mean, you've been a head coach in high school. You've been an athletic director in high school. You've been an offensive coordinator in D1. You now special teams coordinator in D1. Like you've been in all facets of this rooms, in this building. So you get it, and people know that they can rely on. Hey, pull Pollock in on that. Get his thoughts on that.
Right.
It's not just one thing.
That's right. Exactly. And you know what? That's the great thing that Coach Prime's done with our staff. He's got, guys that have worked at the high school level, the college level, the NFL level. We kind of come together and we blend our different perspectives, and we use each other to lean on. And different people have different areas of expertise, and our organization allows each one of us to use our expertise to benefit the program.
Deuce and Scoop, we got Coach Michael Pollock on. Appreciate you joining us, brother. Know you had some meetings you had to take care of earlier. Welcome back into the morning run. How you making it, Deuce?
Man, I'm making it good, man. I appreciate it. What's up, Coach? Man, hey, Coach got those play breakdowns, man. He broke down power the other day. I said, Coach, what can I do?
There you go, baby.
Yeah,
hey, how's A-Town, man?
Man, it's good, man. We got summer ball, 707 going crazy like the team ball, so it's exciting, man.
Hey, I can't call no names, but me and Coach Bartolone just got off a phone with a prospect from Atlanta and got him offered. Trying to get him out here to Boulder.
Hey, man.
Hey, like Pops used to do on the Wayans Brothers.
Don't say nothing. Right. Man, speaking of high school recruiting, I think a lot of people are saying, okay, not understanding where Colorado is, because Colorado really went heavily in the transfer portal, and the portal didn't stop for Colorado when the spring semester ended. You got grad transfers. You just had a grad camp, and so I just think that now that Colorado is starting to focus, Coach Pollock, what are you guys looking for positionally as far as, let's say, offense? What are some positions of need that you guys are going to attack heavily now that you're starting to shift your focus more to the high school ranks?
Well, I tell you what, we're looking for guys at all positions that can come in and make an immediate impact. And we don't want to bring guys in that are going to have to take 2 years before they can get on the field. We want guys that can come in immediately and impact. So we're looking for the best players in the country at every position that can come in and play for us. I mean, we've got some elite receivers, elite running backs that we're looking at. We just got a great tight end that is said he's going to come. And then, defensively, again, we're, looking for those DBs that are game changers that can come in immediately and play for Coach Prime and Coach Mathis and Coach Rob in that secondary. So, yeah, like I said, we're looking at all positions, but, we're really focusing on the top talent that we feel like can come in. And I'm going to be honest with you. We don't look at 247 and on 3 and all that to figure out what the top talent is. Of course, we evaluate those guys, but the thing about it is a guy that we may look at as a top talent, they may not see it that way, because a lot of times guys that don't get those stars haven't been to those camps, So you got to be able to kind of navigate through all that and be able to use your eyes, and also, talk to the kids and get to know him, get to know his parents, and understand, hey, man, is this a guy that can play for us? Is this a guy that can fit in our culture? Because, there's a lot of brutal honesty around here. There's not a lot of sugarcoating things around here. And if a guy's kind of been brought up soft a little bit, this may not be for him, because, coach ain't, coach believes in calling it and keeping it 100, and sometimes keeping it 100 is something that a lot of these kids aren't used to their parents and their high school coaches doing, because, their talent has allowed them to kind of navigate the system they've been in a little bit. And, Coach is just not that kind of guy, and he doesn't let us be those kind of guys either. He wants us to be, honest with them, and that, that's part of that whole grading thing. We get up every day and say, hey, this was your grade from yesterday, and this is what you did good, this is what you did bad, and if you practice bad to the point that say you got a 1 or a 2, that he don't mind us saying, hey, man, I don't even know why you out here if that's how you gonna practice, So he, you got to have some tough skin. But the thing about it is I think great players that are built to go to the NFL, I think they like the brutal honesty. I think they'd rather have someone be straight up for them, keep it 100, don't lie to them, and hey, tell me how I can get better and get to the league, rather than just making me feel good every day.
Coach, you touched on something when you said that y'all don't just rely on the recruiting services and their rankings. Y'all know ball, so you rely on your eyeball test more than anything. We were at a camp years ago when a guy was about to run, and Coach Prime ain't big on wasting time. Like, he's like, things got to be moving. And so the guy said, well, Coach, give me a minute. I need to hook up the laser system so we get the timing. Coach said, man, I don't need no system for me to know a joker fast. I can watch it.
That's right. Hey, it's like when he worked with the NFL Network, and the dude ran. He said he could run.
What do you mean by that, Coach Prime?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
You know what I mean by that.
Because you got 2 Georgias on here, Mississippi and Alabama. When we say it twice, we mean it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Is it
Run.
hot
Run.
outside, man? It ain't just hot outside. It's hot, hot.
That's
Hey,
right. That's exactly right.
Coach, I want to ask one more question, like if that's cool, Chico.
Yes, sir.
Chico,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm speaking for Chico on his show.
yeah,
My bad.
you know, I want to make sure I don't go 1-2-1 again. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be
Yeah, because it's supposed to go 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2 back to 1.
right. So thank you, Chico. Hey, Coach. So like it's time for it's 7:07 time, but school 7:07. How much do you guys put it like as far as recruiting wise? Is there anything that you can take out of 7:07 that can help you kind of identify somebody that you would like as a prospect, or is 7:07 something that you kind of look at as just like maybe that's just helping the high school, but not as helpful for us on the recruiting side?
Good
Well,
question.
I think it's a great way to evaluate DBs and how they can play man coverage and of course receivers, ball skills, things like that. I think that's a great way to do it. I don't think 7-on-7 is as effective to evaluate quarterbacks. I think you can watch the quarterback and watch his throwing motion and say, okay, is this a throwing motion I can work with and everything? But as you know, when you got jokers breathing down your neck compared to 7-on-7, you back there just patting the ball for 4 seconds. It's a different game. But I
Mm-hmm.
tell you what, we've got our 7-on-7 camp coming up June 18th, and it gives our coaches a great opportunity to see some elite players in person. You know, what kind of teammate are they? Are they front runners? Do they when their team's behind? Do they quit or do they keep competing? And again, of course, the ball skills. The man coverage skills by the DBs. Those are there. But anytime you can watch a kid um, operate with teammates and see how he handles things and how he acts with them,
Yeah.
and just how he communicates with his coaches, how he jogs on and off the field, just things like that. Those are good evaluations. And we like I say, our 7-on-7 count is one of the best ways that a kid can get seen here because our full-time coaches, we kind of keep them free that day where they can just kind of follow teams around and just watch the games, and they don't really have any quote unquote responsibilities outside of just evaluating players, you know. And so we invite teams from all over the country to get here. We know that sometimes it's hard to get here from certain places, but we got kids coming from the southeast. We got teams coming from the southeast this year. Of course, we got local teams coming, and our camp is unique in the fact that we let high school teams come. We let 7-on-7 travel teams come that are using high school players. So anybody out there that wants to come compete, it's a great opportunity to get your kids seen live by us and evaluated. Because like I say, it's anytime you can watch kids compete in anything, you can tell some about them. Like coaches for years have been going to watch basketball games to watch players that they've been recruiting for football, just to watch how they move on the court, how they
Mm-hmm.
how they compete, how they get
Yep.
along with their teammates. Are they listening to their coaches, or are they, just you can tell a lot about a kid by his body language on the sideline or on the court. So anytime we can get an opportunity to watch a kid compete in a situation like that, I think it's great because hey, let's face it, kids come to camp, they've paid to come to camp, they're going to give you the absolute best effort they can give that day. They're trying to impress you. But like sometimes when they get in that team setting, you'll see the real person, you
Yeah.
know. And that's one thing I think 7-on-7 does is it gives us an opportunity to see the real player and how he operates within a teamwork.
Nice. And this is the last question from me, Coach, is for recruiting, right? I think I know this answer, but this is for everybody else out there too to kind of break down the recruiting and how you guys have your areas that you recruit. Is it broken down by where you're from? And if you have two coaches that's kind of like from the same area, do you go to different areas? How is the recruiting zones broken down between the coaching staff?
Well, because the way we recruit, we do it a little bit different than everyone else. But certainly areas that we are familiar with, we kind of are leaned on in those areas. Like we got coaches from Dallas, coaches from Houston, of course, me being from Georgia, we got coaches from down in Florida. So, coaches all the California guys. So we kind of lean on, their knowledge of the framework of that area and the players, also the competition level. Like if this kid's playing is he playing good competition? Coach, tell us about these teams he's playing. Well, I wouldn't evaluate this team because these guys aren't any good. Just does that and the other. And then once we kind of get out of our area, then it kind of goes positionally. So say a coach, say I find a tight end in Georgia, then I'll give him to Coach Brett, and then Coach Brett will go evaluate him when it's the evaluation period and look at him. So it starts off kind of with our area, and then it branches off by position. So we kind of use both formulas.
Nice
I
breakdown,
love it.
right
I
there.
love that. Coach Pollock, man, we're at the top of the hour. We appreciate you always being willing to join the morning run. The door is open for you anytime that we got some news that you need to break or just to chop it up, man, because we love when Coach Pollock comes on. The chat loves when Coach Pollock comes on because we get to see the greatest hair in college football.
Well, hey, guys, I always enjoy it. You can have me back anytime.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach.
Y'all
Thanks,
take
Coach.
care, man. Go Buffs.
Go
Go
Buffs. That was Coach
Buffs.
Michael
Yes,
Pollock,
indeed.
special teams coordinator. This is the morning run on this first hump day of June 2025. Deuce Scoop, Big Dog Chico, yours truly, Uncle Needy. Deuce Scoop, you missed the live, unscripted, unplanned combing of Chico's hair on the morning run.
I see. What? Yeah, I see that pickup there, Chico.
That's the old school black fist pick, Dukes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he spent the first 15 minutes of the show trying to get that pick to come up, go in and in out of it. It would go, it wouldn't go up through it, but
Unc didn't like me picking his hair. We're supposed to be talking about this right here, Duke.